Welcome to the Design Dash podcast, your guide to designing a life you love. Join us as we explore the keys to living the life you want without compromise. We're going to start today, as we always do, by thanking our really good friends at Monogram Appliances. They've been a long-standing partner for us here at Design Dash and at our firm, Laura U Design Collective. And we absolutely love working with their team. We love their product. We love their ethos. And we're so happy that they are such a trusted sponsor for us here at the Design Dash podcast. Thanks, Monogram.
Thank you, Monogram. And today our guest is Lauren Levicki Courville. She is the president of Dress for Success in Houston, and she brings extensive experience in leadership across various fields, including hospitality, medical, energy, marketing, and public relations. She can do it all. In 2011, she founded Levicki Network, where she worked with companies on business development and marketing strategies. She has been a part of Dress for Success since 2003, serving on its leadership team since 2013. And she is a driving force behind the organization's growth and community engagement. Beyond Dress for Success, Lauren has volunteered in Houston community for over 20 years and serves on the advisory board for Trees for Houston and Women of Wardrobe, which is Dress for Success Houston's young professionals group. And I will tell you, I have known Lauren a long time. We met years ago when I was on the Women of Wardrobe volunteer committee or whatever. I was a volunteer for Dress for Success and Women of Wardrobe. So I was once a young professional too. So I've seen her grow into her role and all the amazing growth that she's fostered within Dress for Success Houston. So welcome, Lauren. We're so happy to have you here.
Thank you both so much. Appreciate the nice intro.
Yeah, we've known each other a long time. So you have expanded Dress for Success and Women of Wardrobe. And so just to get us started, I'd love a little background on, how this all came to be and your journey through Dress for Success.
It's been an incredible journey. So when I left the Levicki Network, or I rolled away from my company and my PR firm, which was exciting and challenging altogether. The chairman of the board at the time, Dress for Success was looking for a vice president replacement and part of a succession plan. And she said, "Why don't you enter into the candidates?" And it was definitely the most nervous I've ever been in an interview, because with a name like Levicki, you can't hide that my mom was the co-founder of the Houston affiliate. And so it is a family affair, and we've learned from each other over my 11-year tenure. And I've always had a passion, of course, for nonprofits, and I've really been able to leverage all of my skills. I was already a volunteer and doing pro bono work for the organization as we moved into this beautiful building, so that we could better serve and empower more women in the Houston community. And so it's been a journey, and I've grown so much over the past 11 years. And I think we can all agree that, that little pause in 2020 allowed us, my joke is we didn't pivot, we kept ball changed and turned into where we are now as an organization. And we're seeing through the impact and the investment in technology and what that's making for our team and within our community.
And so is the technology just a huge change for you? Because as you said, your mother, Nancy Levicki, started the Houston branch, I guess, for lack of a better term, of Dress for Success. Affiliate, there you have it. And so when she started it, I'd love to know kind of what that looked like then, when you got involved, and then like tech, what's taking you forward now? Where is that taking you?
So she and Susie Cunningham were the Houston co-founders 26 years ago. And I went to college. I was only 12 when I left for college.
Right, totally. We all were. We were so young.
Yes, it's fine. It's fine. Everything's great. And so they were both looking for what was next in their careers and within volunteerism scope, because they've both been very engaged in the community. And Susie heard about Nancy Lublin in New York, who is the founder of Dress for Success overall, and in People magazine, and Nancy, my mom, heard about it through a New York Times article. And they both said, this is it. This is what we're going to do. And Nancy Loveland was actually going to be in town that weekend for a wedding in Houston. And so here she comes bounding down the stairs for this morning meeting on a Saturday morning before the wedding. And, the joke is dress for success. She had her red tennis shoes on, white jeans, and the blue and white striped shirt with soaking wet hair. And then she started talking and the passion exuded. And, Nancy Loveland in New York went to the nuns in Spanish Harlem and said, what's missing? And they shared, we can teach women skills, we can provide those resources. However, if they walk in to the interview and don't feel confident or wearing, their attire that they're maybe tired, or you don't feel as good as you can when you're wearing new professional attire. So it's been an amazing journey, and I'm so proud to be a part of the whole global organization. And it's just incredible what really Nancy did in Houston within our professional women's group. And that's the ongoing network of support by providing the women beyond that professional attire, ongoing career development skills, and also personal development skills. So it's a holistic approach to a woman's journey. Yes, that professional attire is that first step. Beyond that, it is that continued confidence to land a job and build a career to help level the playing field for women globally, where we are as affiliates.
So you mentioned professional women's group at Dress for Success in Houston, and I'd love to hear about this group and also just what's your favorite thing? Like what gets you out of bed in the morning? What are you so excited about with Dress for Success? Something new, something that's already working? Like, I know that's two questions, but like, tell me about professional women's group. And then like, is that what you're most excited about? And if not, what is it?
I think it's easy to answer what I'm most excited about and then go into the professional women's group, because every day we have the opportunity to engage with women that are somewhere within their professional journey, which is just your journey, right? Your life's journey. And I am a networker. So that was my Levicki network. I'm all about how you can engage with each other so you don't feel alone in your journey. And that's what we have the privilege of providing. And the community aspect is invaluable. So 80% of our women are single women. So when you make a friend and you've landed this job, now that's when you're invited to join the professional women's group. Yes, you come back for additional professional attire. As well, you're going through an orientation. You've worked all week. You come to our building on a Saturday morning and go through an orientation. And I love seeing the ladies. I was there this past Saturday, and they're like, what is this? And I've worked all week and I'm tired, but I know I want to be here and I want to know what's this magic that everyone talks about. And it truly is where, it's the circle where it's like your comfort zone and then where the magic happens. And PWG is where the magic happens. And it is a holistic approach to a woman's journey. So we offer workshops. Sometimes I'm like every minute of every day, from financial literacy, legal literacy, health and wellness. We have a whole creative works program with our local arts and theater. So it's expanding the lens of what you may know now and what your opportunities hold in the future. And we all define success differently. And what I love about the professional women's group is that it's not your work, not your family. It's like this really neat place where you can try different things. And if it doesn't work, or you get a little uncomfortable and it's a little sticky, no one's judging you. And then you're like, oh, that wasn't that bad. This is like when I show up at work and I'm having that challenging conversation, or in life when I'm having that challenging conversation, I remember what this feels like. And I got this. And if I don't have it, then I know I'm around other like-minded women and I feel confident and I'm okay if I stumble. So it's just incredible what the professional women's group has grown into. And we continue to grow. This year, we're already over 400 women. So we'll continue to grow and thrive this year. since the pandemic pause, we weren't seeing as many women, and now it's definitely ramping back up.
And so with the Professional Women's Network, or even with Dress for Success, what kinds of challenges are women facing right now when they're entering or even re-entering the workforce?
Oh, I think it's such a big question, and then also simplex in one way or another. So depending on where you are within the globe or within the nation, I can speak towards more. The barriers for getting back to work can be, really vast. And if you are a mom with, co-parenting, or you've got kids and they're not school age kids yet, the cost of childcare as opposed to what your wage could be, depending on your industry, and just the access to the digital divide is huge. So if you're expected to have a resume, however, you only have your phone, but you have a little one, and it's hard to get to the library and have quiet with a little one. Like, can you even get to the library? Is there access to public transportation based on where you live? Do you have access to car? Do you have the gas to the car? And there's so many different reasons as to why it's hard to reenter. And those are just the barriers, not even the emotional, I can do this. I have the confidence to do this. I know I have these skills. We have a remarkable women veterans program as well, in addition to our professional women's group and our job search program. And, it's really so sad and such a disservice that when our veterans separate from the military, there is a better way, I think, for us to engage with the veterans separating, to share what their skill sets are based on their MOU when they were in the military. And female veterans suffer with isolation even more than our male veterans. So both should be uplifted and embraced, and the chance to know that we value and appreciate that 1% that protects the 99% of us. And likewise, what they've potentially gone through is tremendous, and they have so many logistic skills and so many different facets in their career of being at the right place at the right time, taking orders, following those commands, staying calm under pressure, like all these transferable skills. However, how we recruit in corporate America in our HRM systems, they're not going to talk. Those keywords aren't there. So how can we help our women veterans translate their resume to be successful in the corporate environment, or just in civilian period? I think those are just some, and it is that, we're a client-facing organization. So depending on what kind of role you're looking for, there are now, more remote options or hybrid options, which can help the balance of, growing your family, expanding your family, and what that looks like. So I think employers still value that face-to-face engagement, but then also value the opportunity to have flexibility within that hybrid model, depending on what kind of industry you're in. Within we're client-facing, hospitality, things like that. We want to work and engage with our constituents. But at the same time, if you're, looking at graphic design, or perhaps within the finance world and technology world, you don't always have to be so client facing, and there could be more growth and expansion there. With that, it's the knowledge and the exposure of that training and those accreditations or degrees that you may need within that scope. So we have volunteers or other veteran service organizations come in and present, so that our women learn more. In Texas, at least, if you're a disabled veteran, you have that plate, the license plate that you get, and then you have, toll at no cost. So you can access the toll roads at no cost, which for us, as traffic continues to pick up, it's nice to be able to, maneuver on the toll and not have to pay that cost, as we're all being mindful with our budgets. So we bring in key speakers from the community We have different career expos with different companies. So while we're not a job placement organization, we will make it's that networking piece again. So if you're making a connection with a recruiting firm, or how you can leverage the relationship with a job placement organization, and we have different companies coming in and they have to have at least 20 roles available in their organization in all different levels, because we serve women from who have a GED to PhD, and from 18 years old to 80 years old. So there's no start or ending line with us. It's just a matter of where you are in your journey. So it's really great. And throughout the other affiliates throughout, especially within the United States, most will have professional women's group programs. They leverage volunteer resources as well. So if you are interested in learning more about being a part of the impact that Dress for Success makes in a global way, and see where those affiliates are. I know that was shown earlier. So you can always go to the main website of Dress for Success, because truly we couldn't do the work we do without our volunteers. We're nearing over 400 volunteers, because we see, on any given day, we'll see on a Saturday, we'll see over 100 women. And through our workshops, we can, between our suiting and our workshops in a given day, we could have like 40 women coming in and out, and then as well our team and our volunteers. So for us, gentlemen can volunteer as well in any capacity other than suiting the women. So especially in our interview preparation course or any of our job search workshops, it helps for women to connect with gentlemen as they go through that interview process. So if they get overwhelmed or have any, oh, I'm getting nervous because it's a man interviewing me versus a woman, kind of go through, again, those emotions for the first time here versus first time on at the interview. So helping businesses thrive and grow was huge. But I love that I was able to bring those components to Dress for Success.
There's a lot to talk about here, but I want to talk first, just quickly, about working with family, because I've done that. And I know a lot of people, when they're starting out, maybe as an entrepreneur, or maybe they're just coming out of college and they have an opportunity to work with family. I actually hired my sister because I had my own business and I wanted to have, I wanted to grow my business, and it made a lot of sense at the time. So talk to me about working with family, because I know you touched on it briefly, but what were some of the biggest successes, or even one success, in working with your mom? And then what was something that was just like a miserable failure that you're like, if I had a do-over, I would have done that totally differently?
Okay, well, you're making me really think back. So we are very similar, yet very different. And I think that's also the difference of generations, right? So I have learned, and as I've gotten more seasoned in my life, on how to have different conversations and to talk through things in a more mindful way rather than a knee-jerk reaction way. And when we were starting, when you are, and I was a volunteer when I came back, so our young professionals group 21 years ago, when Laura and I were only 4 and started, but it's fine. When working together in that component and as a volunteer, and then I knew, we move so fast as an agency. So within that haste, you, regardless of if it's your family member or not, you can say things quickly. And again, that out of haste is not a successful place for anyone to be. And so I've had to learn, not only with her, but just in my personal growth, what really matters. Like, where do you really want to fall on the sword? And likewise for her, like, oh, that is a good idea. And I think it also depends on your relationship with that family member, because as our parents or your aunt and uncle, anyone that, if you're working with someone who is aging, that's a point of grace too. And how do you help them through that journey? Because it's hard to let something go that you built and what an investment you put into it. With that, it's easier to let it go if it is your family, because you believe in, you trust in them. And so with I think that all to say is there were a lot of different moments, but we've evolved through them, whether they were good moments or bad moments. But now I have a mentor who there's latitude there and a chance to laugh at things versus always having to get to where she was. So filling the shoes of a leader is a challenge regardless. And then the fact that it's your mom can be a balance. So I think I've rambled enough on that, but it's hard. And you just have to, you have to know when you want to really drive home and make that point, or you got to let it rest and just think about it. I know this is a change and this is something that isn't what we've always done. Let's just think about it. You don't need to make this decision right now. Like having that moment of time, and it's such a gift versus like, again, the haste, like, well, we got to do it. So, yeah, just pack your patience. I mean, anyone who's raised kids can also say the same thing.
It's so true. You're taking over from someone that this is like, I'm putting words in your mouth, but maybe Nancy's legacy. And so you're stepping in and really like you're the caretaker of this legacy and you're making it your own, but there's a lot of responsibility there. And then on the flip side, there's the younger generation that's coming up and you have to pack your patience for them for a completely different reason. But we talk a lot about designing your life and work-life rhythm at Design Dash. Melissa, do you want to like tack onto that? I'm curious to how Lauren would answer that question, the work life.
Well, Laura and I address work-life rhythm a little bit differently, but we talk a lot about that at Design Dash and with a diverse perspective, right? Like my work-life rhythm is going to be different than Laura's. It's going to be different than yours, Lauren, and it's definitely going to be different than the team that I met with earlier today at the office. So, how do you achieve that? Like, how do you feel like? Okay, so when I say I had a really good work-life rhythm today, it means that I'm going to bed at night saying that was a good day. I was productive. You know, I think that I made a positive impact on my team. But what does that mean for you? And what's your ideal work life rhythm like?
I agree. Like I want to feel good about how our culture and how our team feels. And I know we're a team of 21 women. So, and within that, there's a lot of work life. I love the rhythm because I always say, what is balance? Like it's not work-life balance. It is that rhythm is perfect because we're going through everything. And in order to have that the good feeling and the rhythm of making your song, whatever it needs to be that day is for us. I mean, for me at work, it's different every day. They're consistent components. But what I'm doing today isn't what I will be doing tomorrow. And I want to feel like I've addressed what I need to address for my team and all of our constituents. If there's something that comes up that's unknown, because we are dealing with humans in our volunteers and in the women we serve, and of course our team, like all the different facets. To hear one feel good moment really fills my cup, and then the chance to have time. It's awesome when it's at the beginning, at the end of the day, but my rhythm doesn't always balance out that way. To have time with my family, and it's an at ease versus an at rush kind of thing. But I've definitely made an effort to only, if I can, have like one evening away where I'm not a part of like a bedtime. And for me, that's like really important. So if I'm going to have 2 nights away where I'm not home by bedtime, then I really have to evaluate why I'm not going to be home at bedtime. You know, I may have 2 or 3 events during the week after work, but if I can be home by bedtime, it's okay. But that's kind of my, like, makes me feel good, that I've accomplished what I need to accomplish for my role at the agency, and then also my role with our family. It's like, makes me sing. It feels good.
I like what you said. It should be at ease, not at rush. I think that's a great way to put it. And it sounds like that's kind of a theme too, because even with your communication at work with your mother and just not saying things without consideration or being thoughtful, I think there's a lot of really good takeaways here. And just to wrap us up, I'd love to just have you tell everyone, our listeners, where they can find you. So if you have whatever your Instagram handle or your website, if you just let everyone know where they can track you down.
Oh, absolutely. So it's dfshouston.org. So Dress for Success Houston, dfshouston.org, and DFSH Houston also for Instagram. And you can track all the affiliates down to just Google Dress for Success and then their name. And again, the impact that will resound in you when empowering women and in your community. We all know it all makes such a great overall feeling. And I think you can learn so much from leaning in and hearing about others and their journey and how you're learning from them and they're learning from you. Because again, for me, I think that is my joy in life, is hearing successes. And if we can be a part of that component of a woman's journey for her, and then that ripple effect for their family, it's awesome. It's such a great feeling. And to know we can all do it for us. We're all supported by Houston. So it's Houston investing in Houston. And I say that because we're not government or United Way funded. So it really is for our women to know that the community is investing in the community, and we're a partnership. We're here for each other, and we're listening to those needs, and our supporters are incredible, and they continue to fulfill those needs. It's fabulous.
Well, Dress for Success is such an awesome organization and community, and we really appreciate you taking the time to chat with us today and tell us your story. And if you enjoyed this episode, please like and follow anywhere you listen to podcasts, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Thanks so much, Lauren.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you for listening. Make sure to check out our next podcast, coming live next week on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. In the meantime, you can find us and more wonderful stories like these on designdash.com. And make sure to follow us at Design Dasher on Instagram and TikTok. Till next time.